Hello guys and gals of the internet, I'm SuperKios of YouTube and Twitch TV. We are back on F1 Manager, this time on F1 Manager 24 for the traditional exploration of the new game's newest features. And of course, if what I've been saying about the game and everyone is correct, this is definitely the most feature-rich game in the series so far, headlined of course by the addition of Create a Team. Finally, at the third time of asking, we finally have a Create a Team mode in the game. You probably could argue it should have been in the game at least last year. You could probably understand for the first year, maybe not, but definitely should have been in the game last year. But we're finally here, and it's finally available. And today, we're going to do our traditional exploration videos, pretty much the same way we did them before. But of course, with the Create a Team mode, it gives me an opportunity to maybe give you guys a sneak peek into what the 2024 season will entail when we reach that point in the Aiden Jackson story. And if what I'm saying about this game is correct, and with the amount of customization that it could be in the game, which so far looks to blow F1 24 out of the water, I'm seriously considering moving to F1 Manager 24 for the exclusivity of that year in the story, but we'll have to see what happens. Of course, I'm a long way behind that right now. I'm still in the 2022 Formula 1 season, of course the 2022 Formula 2 season with Callie Mayer for the Connor Sport Prologue, and we already have the ideas in place for the 23 season, but of course I've been pretty slacking when it comes to that, so I'm gonna have to get my head down and get back to doing that. I've already done a few races pre the release of this game, so I'll probably upload those in due course, and we'll get right back on that. Now, as for anything else, most of the changes are inside the game. Rather this year we have the same modes. We obviously have race replay, which made its debut last year, which really essentially is Grand Prix mode. We can have two different scenarios. You can have the starting grid of the actual races that have gone by, and of course after the race's completion, Frontier maybe a couple of days later will go in and add the replay of the race with the starting grid from the real life Grand Prix, or a specific moment in that race that you'll be able to partake in. Now, I want to jump into this real quick because of course for pre-ordering the game I get these exclusive scenarios, and one thing I saw in the setup of the game when I was actually setting up was this rather cool scenario in Abu Dhabi. Now this is really cool. So basically, every team's main drivers are out of action, so the affiliate drivers take the wheel. Lead the next generation of Formula 1 talent in a head-on-head race at Abu Dhabi to get a taste of the future of motorsport. So basically all the main drivers are out, replaced with affiliate or third drivers for the whole grid. That could be a real interesting scenario that I actually might do a video on, because that is really tempting to me. That is a really cool sounding challenge. So I might do that during this first exploration videos like we did last year. Of course I did race replay last year, so I don't really have to delve into that too much, but I might check this one out because that's a really cool sounding scenario. So that might come later. Now, the one thing before we get into the Create a Team mode and get rid of the gist of the game is I want to jump into career. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to check something. During the development of this game and the videos that Frontier have done on it, they seem to have teased the fact that they may have already coded Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari in 2025. Yes, if it's true, because they did this last season, if you remember, they coded the fact that Red Bull had an ATR penalty period throughout 2023, and that was actually a factor in the game. With every career mode you did, it would always happen. So I'm wondering, because Lewis Hamilton's announcement to drive for Ferrari was in the pre-season of 2024, I'm wondering if that gave Frontier enough time to code it. Let's go and find out. Ah, there it is. There it is. They did. Contract agreed starting January the 1st, 2025. So essentially, in every time you start the career mode, Lewis Hamilton will move to Ferrari in the second season. So you won't be able to sign him for your own team, for example, because he's already agreed a contract with Ferrari. So that's actually coded into the game. Now, I'm not sure if he'll be able to renew a contract because, of course, he's already agreed this contract. So I'm assuming you won't be able to sign Hamilton at all. The only real time you get to play with Hamilton is if you're Mercedes starting out. But I can see a lot of people picking Ferrari and just waiting for Lewis to come over. Maybe Tom Lady will even do that as well. But that's awesome. They've actually factored in Lewis going to Ferrari. So this is a fixed point that will always happen in your career mode saves on this game. Every time you restart it, this will always happen in 2025. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for my team, the career team as well. Alright, so with that awesome fact established, and I'm assuming it's going to be in Curator team as well. We'll have to wait and see if we can find it. But it is time. After 3 years, at the third time of asking the most popular requested feature for the game in the last 3 years, Curator team is finally here. Let's get into it. Alright, so team name, we're going to do Audi Sport F1 because that's where Aiden Jackson is. And this is a kind of sneak peek into a possible future. Of course, it is subject to change as this is only an exploratory set of videos like we did last year. But it also could have sneak peek potential. Before we do that, we're actually going to pick number 1 and make your story because the Aiden Jackson story is purely an alternate universe, so I think it really fits with what we're doing right now. But let's just check these other scenarios or origin stories out, I think they're called. Sven Schultz is a maverick entrepreneur distributing industries around the world. They have now turned their attention to Formula 1, and just like in business, they intend to win at all costs. No shooting planning to take them to the top, but the owner's fame won't buy success. Invited, but points will be a challenge at the first, so be prepared for an uphill battle. So this is essentially Road to Glory, really. Not so good car, worse facilities, not so good drivers and staff. So this is essentially a Road to Glory storyline, more or less. Flamepoint are a small engineering outfit, but their technical expertise is mighty. They're about to step onto the world stage, having created an incredible car through their innovative technology. But with a limited budget and no reputation, it's down to you to answer the age-old question. Is technical brilliance enough to snatch victory from the titans of Formula 1? This gives me vibes of Brawn GP in 2009. You know, Ross Brawn brought the team Honda for a pound. I think it was revealed to be a pound, so that's literally no funds, as that said, a limited budget, and no reputation because they were starting pretty much from scratch with only Virgin Media as their sponsor. So this gives me real Brawn GB vibes because in 2009 they found a loophole in the regulations with their double diffuser or blown diffuser, one of the two, and and they absolutely swept the championships for the first half of the year anyway. Red Bull initially caught up, but in the early days, Brawn couldn't be stopped, and they won the titles, I think with a race or two to spare, if I could be wrong. I think it was a race, because it was already wrapped up by Abu Dhabi, I believe. So I think I could be right there, but it's been a long time. But yeah, this actually gives me real vibes of Brawn GP's story, so that's pretty cool how they did that. Phoenix was a dominant force in other categories of motorsport but disappeared from the public eye a few years ago. Now they're back intent to claim the ultimate prize of victory in Formula 1. They have a well-developed HQ, but despite their impressive legacy, they're struggling to get the grips with F1's technical regulations. Sounds like Mercedes in 2022 with the whole struggling thing. It seems like something out of the old days, maybe Lotus or something. You know, it sounds like it sounds like that kind of thing. Because with everyone's technical regulations, that's definitely something Mercedes was struggling with in the early days. Of course, we've got the big regulation change in 2026 anyway, so there's probably no need for anyone to do this kind of storyline at this point. Media Materials are a conglomerate of huge resource companies previously partnered with multiple teams within other motorsports. Now they're taking center stage with a plan to cement themselves as a true industry titan. How do they go with the multiple teams? Sounds like something like it. That actually sounds like what Audi are doing, doesn't it? You know, with their like merge with Sauber. Seems like it's something they're doing, or I think there was another team that tried to do that, Lotus or Caterham or something like that. But yeah, that seems very much what Audi are doing, and it actually gives you like almost full on. But basically, this is a car that could challenge Red Bull at this point. This is literally like a team that could challenge Red Bull right off the bat. So it's probably going to be you have to do immediately well from the off by the looks of it. Industry giant, obviously Audi is a motorsport or automotive giant at the very least. So yeah, that's pretty much Audi right off the bat. Actually, that might actually be, although you can't change the starting balance or powertrain manufacturer. Apparently they're locked. Huh. Toyota is a name with luxury and power in the automotive world. Oh, this could be Audi as well, actually. But they intend to be synonymous with dominance of Formula 1. The board has selected you as the person to spearhead their entry into the sport, and they expect solid results and midfield results initially. But this ambitious brand has speed in its DNA, and want to prove what other cars can truly do. Again, very Audi, actually. Very Audi. But seeing that the Aiden Jackson story is a kind of alternate universe, we're going to go with your story and maybe continue it when we get to that point. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to have to hypothetically simulate the 2023 season, and we're going to have to be kind of in a make-believe world at this point. So, what we know so far going into 2023 is that Connosport is going to partner up with Audi through brand means, and obviously the big brand of Butler Global will give them huge cash. Now we know in 2022 that aerodynamically Audi had a very good car and still have a very good car because it was still there, but their chassis is probably their weakest asset at that moment. So I think we're going to say that in 2023 the chassis is the big step that they take into the 2023 season to get a chassis pretty much on par with McLaren's, so to speak. And that takes a lot of their cash and resources. So, looking at the starting balance, we don't know what's going to happen with the Connosport kind of story yet, but I have got something in mind for that. I won't tell you what it is. Keep you guys in suspense for that one. But let's say they use a lot of the cash to upgrade their car and looking to challenge the might of Red Bull, even though in 2023 that might be quite difficult. Of course, this is hypothetical. So let's say that they used a lot of the budget, and let's give them 20 or 25 or 15. Obviously, this is kind of a make-believe synopsis. Let's go 25. We don't want to be like massive maximum money off the bat, because I don't think Audi would do that. And of course, they have to be probably more mindful of the cost cap, because they will be on course for a 4th place finish in 2022. So as per rules of the cost cap, that I give them a smaller cap to play with next season, the following season. So let's put them at 25. Facilities and car performance, realistically, I think facilities will be probably 4, because it is Audi. They are pretty much a giant in the car world, so they're probably going to have some of the best facilities right off the bat. Car performance is interesting, because in the 2022 season, Aiden Jackson has actually been outdriving the car, so to speak, because if you remember, Nico Hulkenberg was in the Audi as teammate for the first half of the season, and then got called up to Raven West to replace Lara Carvalho after she broke her arm in the Grid World Series, as per the storyline, and Mika Hakkinen came in to replace him. Mika's actually scored points in the first 2 races so far, so I don't think we're going to go like best car, because I think that'll put us on par with Red Bull, and Red Bull are probably going to be the unstoppable juggernaut in 2023. I would be very surprised if we didn't win a race, although you never know what can happen. So I think for realistic purposes, we're probably going to go 4. for car performance for this kind of test run. Once I've completed 2023, we'll get a better picture of how to sort this. So we're just kind of making a make-believe simulate 2023. Let's figure this out. So I think simulating 2023, Red Bull will be like here, Red Bull and possibly McLaren, and then Audi will be like here. You know, level with Ferrari and Mercedes, who they've been battling with throughout 2022. So I think that's probably going to be what happens. I think it's going to be all fours. What's this? Just the starting levels. Oh, okay. So, let's see. Got 2 for mostly everything except the suspension simulator. Start facilities. Does that actually give us a point for this? No. Okay, the points are tier based. Okay. So let's see. I think that really could be right. That really could be quite right. I would say CFD simulator would probably be higher. I think what I would probably do in this instant is I would probably test suspension handling different surface types to improve your team's car spots expertise. I might leave this. And maybe use some of the rest of the cash to maybe put in another level here. So I might leave that for now. 2, 2, and 2. Yeah, I would say that probably would be about right. You know, because we can't go higher than, can't start higher than 3. So I think we'll leave that as it is as well. Scouting department really isn't an issue, but I think maybe it will become not an issue. But I don't think it's been such a common thing of the game in the most recent, like the last 2 years. But I think this year with the affiliate driver system, it actually might be. So I might leave these as it is as well. And I think I'm probably going to leave these as they are. Yeah. Yeah, so we didn't really have to change anything there. So that's actually a good thing. So, yeah. What's this? Do we just go back? Yeah. Alright. So, a bit of a story for you. Before Mika Häkkinen's arrival, the real target for the Audi seat was, of course, Mick Schumacher to come in after Hulkenberg's replacement. But every time I tried to enter a bidding war with Haas for Schumacher, they always beat me to the punch because I ran out of money. So with that in mind, and with Mick Schumacher being obviously my favourite in terms of, you know, being the son of Michael Schumacher, he's immediately going into car 1. Now, for car 2, of course, Aiden Jackson is a fictional character, so to speak. So, we're going to go into the generated. Now, here's the question. Can we do this? Yes, we can have, look at that, we can have top rated drivers that aren't generated drivers. That's sick. So with that in mind, this guy could play, we need to find someone to play Jackson, and what we also need to do is we need to probably find, I don't know if there's a person called Jackson surname here. We also need to be pretty realistic in where Jackson would be at this point. So I don't think we're going to get any of these guys, because they're like the F2 drivers in my team, for example. I would say Toshiko Inoue. That's interesting. That reminds me of Taki Inoue from F195. I'm going to assume that these are the names and faces of the developers. Possibly. We'll probably need a female to play the Kali Maya role, because of course in 2022, due to her stellar performances in Formula 2, she was put on Audi's books, so to speak. But will she make the team in 2023 remains to be seen. I think Jackson, realistically, will probably be around the 80s in terms of rating at this point. Because, let's say, like, the high 80s to, like, 90s would be kind of world championship caliber driver. And even though Jackson is getting there very rapidly, I wouldn't say he was there yet. So, I think with that in mind, we're probably going to have, like, the low to mid 80s here. This is probably where Jackson would be realistically. We're just going to have to pick someone, aren't we? Possibly this guy. There's no Jackson or Aiden in these names. I think that's the only real downer for these NPCs. It's great that they have them here, but you can't go into their data and change their names, because that would be sick. Because one thing I wanted to do initially with 2022 was put Jackson in the Alpi, and what I was actually going to do is have Jack Aiken. Wait a minute. I wonder who's 89 in Formula 1 at the moment, actually. Because I know Jack Aiken, he had 89 on his car. 89 was his number. But I don't think... Yeah, because that's another thing I could do. Probably pick the person who's 89. But to be fair, it would probably... Yeah, I think we're still going to go with the generated only drivers. Okay, so we're probably going to have... We'll do something like this. I guess. Like, maybe this guy... let's bring that down one. Yeah, I do wish you could kind of change their names a little bit. Going to the name, because they're fictional characters, I believe. So it's kind of a shame that you can't change the names of these people. Because that would be pretty awesome if you could do that. I would say the one that's probably like nearest to Jackson's age and rating would probably be this guy. So we're probably going to go with him. And what I'll do is I'll just refer to him as Jackson, even though he'd be called someone else. But it's a fictional character, so you know you don't exactly have to refer to him by his actual name. But that's kind of like the idea there. Now, I'm also going to have mostly generated staff for the Audi team members because it kind of makes sense. Most of these people are actually female, which I find interesting. Pierre Renard actually sounds like a name Audi would take. Carl Vogel, I'm sure he's a real person now that I think about it. Technical Chief. What does the Technical Chief do again? Head of all technical car development for your team. So we'd probably be around... I'm actually leaning more towards... Because most of these are females and that guy's probably too highly rated. Really. And I think Audi would have a person around here. So I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to go for this guy to start with. Yeah, I think we'll go for that guy. Aerodynamic design for your team. They lend their expertise and quality control to the design of all aerodynamic car parts. Now I think I want this guy to be rather high because aerodynamics is one of Audi's strong suits. Unfortunately, they seem to be all females, which is pretty awesome to be fair. I mean, one thing I could do is maybe go for this guy and break the whole game essentially, because to be fair, Audi are going to be coming in through the Sauber team, so essentially you could probably have all the Sauber people here, but they're already in the game. I don't want to take too many of like notable people out too much. I probably might do that once or twice. I mean, it's not to say Audi wouldn't actually have female workers. So maybe we should actually do this right now. Yeah, I think we'll probably do that. Yeah, let's do it. Sporting director. Now, a big part of me actually wants to take Jonathan Wheatley for this. To be fair, a big part of me wants to take Jonathan Wheatley from Red Bull, because I feel if all of that about Christian Horner had actually relieved him of his duties, so to speak, then... Hang on a minute. What are the loaded real people down here? Oh, there's only 2 of them. Oh, so we don't have like F2 versions of these guys. Actually, to be fair... So a lot of the roles don't have F2 participants in it. It's only the sporting directors and the engineers, I believe. But yeah, a big part of me wanted to see Jonathan Wheatley for this, because I believe that if Christian Horner had been relieved of his duties for all that stuff that was happening, then Jonathan Wheatley probably most likely would have been next in line to become team principal, because he is a pretty awesome dude. So I might actually feature that in the story. I might do that in the story. I'll have to see. Anyway, let's get a generated person here too. This guy. Sporting director, again, I think we'll have a highly rated sporting director, because Audi's staff and Raven West staff have been pretty high rank, and they're like, this is the 3rd year into their project, so you'd have to feel that they're mostly highly rated by now. Now, for the engineers, what are we thinking? I kind of want real ones, but I don't. I mean, this guy... I mean, a big part of me wants, like, Josh Peckett to be maybe with Jackson. And Alex Chan to be with Schumacher. I like Alex Chan and his mode race. I actually like that a lot. Gary Gannon's obviously an option. Matthew Ogle. Is there someone called Jeff here? Yeah, Jeff Splair. I might have him for Jackson. And the reason I might do that is because obviously in F1 2015 to F1 2020, Jeff was like the 2021. Jeff was it's actually spelt differently to the other Jeff, but I might do that. I might do Jeff Spear for Jackson. And it's a real person, so we might even have communications in the game. And yeah, so Jackson reunites with Jeff for this one. Unless there's a mark. Is there a mark anywhere? Let's go in the generator, see if there's a mark anywhere. It's probably just like random every time. Every time you jump into career mode, you just have randomly generated names and stuff. It's probably different every time. So yeah, we'll have this guy, because he's an F2, so it's not really going to break too much of the game, I suppose. For Big Schumacher, I'm kind of torn between either John Howard, who sounds awesome. Gary Gannon would be probably the most obvious choice. Actually, I might even... it's either between Gary Gannon or Alex Chan, I guess. I always thought Alex Chan would be with Zhou Guan Yu, but he isn't. He's always with Bottas. I'm going to have Alex Chan because of mode race. I like the mode race that he says. So, yeah. So Jackson's going to reunite with Jeff. Yeah, I might actually do this for the actual thing, but we'll have to see. But yeah, mostly random generated people. This guy's more real, but he's an F2, so it doesn't really break the game too much. And that doesn't break the whole thing either. So it's pretty, like, it doesn't completely break the whole system of the whole 2024 season. You get like a technical director like Jonathan. Say if you were Red Bull and you made Jonathan Wheatley the team principal, and then swapped Jonathan Wheatley with the RB sporting director, then you get Jonathan Wheatley at RB, and it just looked really weird. But yeah, That works. That works out pretty well. So yeah, let's do it. It has a couple of real staff members, but it doesn't really break the whole dynamic of the year. You know, maybe after the first year, maybe if you could re-sign like these people, and then you can start really going into wild stuff. But I want stuff that doesn't really break the whole dynamic of the first year. Does that make sense? Apart from this guy, we just get to resort to him as Aiden. I think Aiden would be an 84 at this point. I think it's low to mid 80s. With Jackson would be. I think theoretically he should probably be driver 1, but I've got to have my man Mick Schumacher. So yeah, let's hope he has his abbreviation this year. Because in last year's game he didn't have his abbreviation for the off, which was really weird. So for the powertrain, now of course in the story at this point, Audi are rumored to be announcing their own powertrain unit for 2023. But of course you can't do that in this game. You can't build your own power unit. I think that would be very complicated if you tried. I would like to see an attempt, but I think it would probably really be very difficult to... I guess they could have like a base, and then you could probably put the names in like you can for your team, and then just have like a few engine shapes to do that with. You know, it doesn't really have to be like really expansive, but maybe for the first time you do this and build your own engine, maybe it could all like be all the basic shapes and other sounds and stuff. Maybe that'd be pretty awesome to do. Now, I've always loved the Honda Power Unit sounds in the games, but if my memory serves me, I think if you become a customer team, your engine always sounds slightly different to the other teams. Like if you pick Mercedes and then you ride on board with, say, an Aston Martin or Mercedes, their engines sound relatively the same. But then you go on your car, I'll point it out in practice. You go on your car and yours sounds slightly different. I like the Renault PU sounds in F1 24, but I've always enjoyed the Honda Power Unit sounds overall. So, raw power output. What would Audi actually be in this? Again, we're going to have to hypothesize. Balance powertrain through decades of development, effective in any scenario. Resist wear of racing as much as possible. Harmony combustion and energy recovery, built for fuel efficiency and bursts of speed. That really sounds like Audi. Built to focus on raw power output above anyone else. If you're not in 2020, if you're in 2016 and 17 and 18, then that's not really true. Ask McLaren. But yeah, I feel that the characteristics of the car fit the Renault Power Unit the best. So we're going to pick them and just call them the Audi PU. That's what we're going to do. Alright, so here's the big thing. Now, there's going to be obviously a lot of skipping in this part now, because this is going to take me a while to do. I'm going to do close to the Audi car livery as possible. We're going to go back to the old, the 2022 car livery that I ran for the first half of the season, because obviously we don't have the Connosport. I could run the Connosport kind of version if it was possible. But the one thing I want to do before I start curating is I actually want to show you some liveries. I thought this Twitch one was really funny. I can guarantee you someone's going to use this and do like a team Twitch to have Kick versus Twitch. I think that would be hilarious, to be fair. I can see someone doing that. But yeah, look at these. Actually, the liveries of content curators in Formula 1, which is pretty neat. I actually really liked that idea. So you've got like these. I don't know who this guy is. I know Arav, of course, the main man in his livery. Yep, that was based on his My Team. So it's pretty much on point. This is actually native as well. This isn't a mod. This is actually native in the game. So Arav's actually going to be using it for his career, which is pretty cool. P1, that's Matt and his friend on that podcast now, I think. Ooh, this one's nice, from Fom. I don't know who Fom is. Has Tom or Matt got one? Yano has, that makes sense. Idril, not familiar with him. Nice that they got Frontier on the car here. I like that. Oh, Benz is sick. Tyler Murdoch. Yeah, Benz is sick. That's my favorite, actually. That's amazing. Ben really went all out on that one. And it's got his logo and everything. That's awesome. I really like the Frontier. I really wish that you could put Frontier on your car, because that would be awesome if you could do that. Do you know what, guys? I think I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'm pretty happy. It's all nice and clean. And it's not like too saturated. I decided to go with the carbon fiber because it makes the grey kind of stand out. It's kind of like Audi's grey. Before the livery had come out in F1 22, I had tried to make my own version of it. And I think I'm going to use it, or use kind of my own version for the Belgian Grand Prix for reasons I'll talk about when I get there. Oh, I like this one. I like this one immediately, actually. The helmet makes the helmet pretty much like Michael Schumacher's. I like that instantly, so I'm probably just going to go with that, actually. It was rather easy in the preset. Well, it's not absolutely perfect, but it'll do. That ain't bad. Not bad at all. Let's actually save it, just in case I need it. Because obviously, I think with this game save, we probably won't be carrying it on, right, for this exact save. But most of it, like I said, is a sneak peek into the future. That was pretty sweet for a first go. It's not bad at all. Anything the helmets does lead me into another kind of semi-gripe I have with this game. And as you can't have two different helmets, completely different helmets. You have to have like two team-specific ones. Although they have done well to differentiate it by different patterns. All right, so we're gonna stick with Chris Whiteman. Because he will be most likely team principal by the time we get around. And obviously Chris Whiteman is the character that Chris W. used for Rise of Raven West, which I'm assuming it was himself. And I was like, you know what? That's a name I'll use for my Audi story. So that's pretty cool. I'll keep car development on standard for now, but I think I might stay with easy. It depends, because I think we're gonna have a semi-decent car out of the blocks. But car development was definitely the hardest aspect for me of this game. So I think with that in mind, I think if I do make this the exclusive game for the 2024 season, I probably will most likely go with easy car development. It really depends. Obviously, we'll get a good idea of how good the car is out of the box anyway, so we'll stick with standard for now. Alright, so it probably took a lot of cuts, but we're finally in. And I'm very happy with the effort, to be fair. So, how do we look out of the box? Pretty realistic. To be fair, I would say that's probably where Audi is in the 22 season. To be fair, I'd probably say that's where they are. With Hakkinen being around 6th in both races, I think, and Jackson grabbing 2 wins in the midpoint. Hulkenberg was just really unlucky when it came to points. So. Yeah, that would probably be about right. Let's make an underfloor, because that's usually the most powerful aspect of the car in F1 Manager. Alright, there we go. 3.4 and 46 wind tunnel hours. That seems to have done a lot. If you look at this, you know, it's gone from 45 to 10%, so it's probably going to go up to about 55% in drag reduction. So that's going to be really good because our acceleration is like garbage. It's like 79. This is where I get lost with this game. It's building these parts and stuff where I really get lost. But I think for the underfloor, we've got to throw everything at it because that's the best update in the game. Right. What else do we need? I would say a rear wing. Oh well. Alright. So, that's a couple of upgrades on the car. Right. A title sponsor for the upcoming season. Technology, energy drinks. Choosing activity types preferred by your sponsors will make it easier to meet your engagement target. I think we're gonna go with the this one here. We don't want to. I guess moderate wouldn't be too bad, but I think there's more. 227 million engagement, 5 million on race day, 6 million. I think we'll go with these guys. I think it's quite easy actually. So Aberos, optional sponsors. Henrik Engineering. I actually really like that. It reminds me of Hendrick Motorsports for NASCAR. We'll go Serpent Fuel for sure. Facility effectiveness. I'm not sure if I want the staff performance rating to go down. So they don't have a mandatory activity. Drive it marketability. I don't think, well, Mick Schumacher is obviously a big one for driver harm. I just like Henrik Engineering. Facility effectiveness, I guess. Up to 5. Yeah, we'll go with these 3. Serpent, Henrik, and Raka. So they're the sponsors we'll put on the car. There we go. Right. Man, this looks cool. I wonder if you could have, like... You could probably have more on the car, but honestly, I don't want them splattered all over, you know? And especially ones we don't actually have. That is pretty neat. This looks so professional, dude. It's so good. Like, honestly, I'm just gonna have such fun with this when I get to F120. This is exactly the reason, guys, why I want to make F124 the exclusive game in the Aiden Jackson story when we get there, dude. This is it. This is why. Create a sponsor plan for the upcoming period, which is 6 weeks. Mandatory activities, energy drink, advent camo. An energy drink advert that doesn't match their brand, reducing their marketability while the ad runs. That's weird. So... oh, I guess we don't really have to worry about these. Oh, I see. Look at the line. Do you see that? Right, we're gonna take this line over the threshold. Right. Okay. Well, the factory tour does a big bunch. Facility effectiveness. I suppose we don't have to really worry about that in the early part of the season, do we? I mean, mind you, I do have the upgrade coming, don't I? I think with Mick Schumacher, I'm probably going to keep him out of this. Out of, like... Because... Performance rating... I really don't want that for Schumacher to go down, because he's going to be quite slow out of the box, because Schumacher generally is slow, like, when the game comes out, so to speak. Okay, engineer team size, we'll take that, because we've still got some left over. The others are giving guided tours on the team's factory, engagement scales with the team's marketability. Thing is 2. Target exceeded. Oh, wait a minute. The sponsor plan does not meet your sponsor's engagement target. The sponsor will give your team more funding if you meet this target. Exceed your sponsor's engagement target as a result. The next sponsor plan target will be lower. Going to too many activities result in diminishing returns in engagement. Oh, so you don't want to do too much, I guess. So you want to meet the target but not go over it, I guess. So we can't do that, that's too big. Sponsor event, can I do that with Jackson? Yeah. Oh, but because Schumacher's higher marketability because of his, like, Schumacher. Oh. Okay. Let's do this one. So we can exceed the target, I guess. We can exceed it, which is not a bad thing. Do one of the affiliates. Yeah, let's do that. I'm not really sure if I'm even doing this right, to be honest. Oh, blimey. Yeah. Exceeded by 739. Ooh. So, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to raise the tour. Had so many. I'm going to put... I'm probably going to put give Jackson this. I think I'm probably going to do that. Oh man, all this other stuff is really like, You can autofill apparently. Okay. Let's do it. Actually gives us a lot of money now, look. See it? Alright then. Finally, I think we're about to get to the race weekend. Let's do some last minute stuff. Let's upgrade this for now. Bring everything up level with that. That's all level. That's all level. Might upgrade the weather center because I think that might be really important. So I'm going to do a quick update on this as well. Right. Schumacher's generally slow, so I'm going to give him a target of 14th. Let's push Jackson a bit, shall we? 10th.